Hi, this is Kevin Trainer, and welcome to part one of my tutorial uh, for the coding assignment that's associated with chapter 11 of the Zelle 3rd edition Python book. And here's what we're going to be doing in the first one. In this chapter, we work on lists and dictionaries. So the first one that we're going to do, the first one I'm going to show you, is called river miles lists. So let me copy out of my already baked version and just paste it into my tutorial. And we've got this. And in addition, we're going to need two data files. One that's called emptyfile.txt. We've been using that for a while. That's just going to allow me to test whether the program ends gracefully when it gets an empty input file. And the other one is called river miles data. What do we mean when we say river miles? Well, we're about to find out. Let me paste this one in too. Okay. All right. So river miles data is the data set that we're going to be using. And it is a list of rivers in the United States and their length in miles, according to some source like maybe Wikipedia or someplace like that. I forget where. And I have them here in descending order of length. So we have the Missouri, the Mississippi, etc. There are 10 of them. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a list, and we're going to sort it into order two different ways. One by the name of the river, and the other by the number of the miles. Okay, so we're going to have two different versions of it. Okay, and here's the code. Sorry. Okay, what does it look like? Well, let's see. It's a program to print a listing of rivers slash miles records from a file in two different orders. The two different orders are river name order and length in miles order. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Okay. Well, this is a pretty well factored out program. Okay. What do I mean when I say this? Well, there is quite a bit of code, and I decided that I wasn't going to just have one run-on program in main. Instead, what I actually did is I created one run-on program in main, and when I was just about done, I used refactor extract method in order to extract functions that did the work. And the two main functions that I have, the first one is it gets river miles tuples. Okay, and so it reads that input file, and it takes each row or each line of the text, and it creates a tuple for it, a combination of the name of the river is in one is in the first of the values, and the length in miles is in the second. And it puts the tuples into a list. Okay, and from our lecture and from our reading, we should know that lists of tuples are easy to sort in a number of ways because it's very easy to tell the sort method of the list class. It's very easy to tell it what order you want to sort in. Okay. So the first thing that we do is that we read in the data and we create a list of tuples. The second thing that we do is we sort the list of tuples. Okay. What's that going to do? Well, it's going to sort it in order of the first value in the tuple, which is the river name. Okay, so this puts it into river name order. Okay, and then I created another function that I actually factored out because I'm going to print two reports that are only different by the name of the report and the order in which the data is in. Then I thought this would be a great thing to factor into a common function where I pass the list that's already sorted into the proper order, and I also pass in the name that we're going to use for the title of the report, and then I have a function print report that it takes the tuples list and the report title, and it prints it in a really nice format. Okay, looks like I've got one more piece of code, and what's this? Well, this is a function that helps us tell the sort method that we want to sort by the river miles. We want to sort by the second field that makes up the tuple. And how do we do that? Okay, well, when we do the sorting, okay, we pass in a keyword parameter that has the name of the method, name of the function actually, that it can call with each of the values to get back the value on which it should be sorting. So I call this one by miles. And what does it get past? Well, gets past a river miles tuple. And what does it return? It returns the field that's on the right. So the one on the left is field 0. The one on the right is field 1. And that's the river miles field. Okay, and we return that. Okay, so let's take a little bit more look at the main processing. Well, not really the main processing. Let's look at this function that builds the list of tuples. Okay, so we prompt for the file name, and then we open the file, and then we create an empty list. Okay, and now we're going to iterate over all the lines in file, okay, and we're going to split them, okay. We're expecting it to split into two values, river, that's the river name, and miles as string. We have to remember that this is going to come in as text. So the miles as string would be fine for printing, except that it's harder to format it as the value that we'd like to format. And the other thing is it's not going to sort into the proper order unless it knows it's a number, because otherwise it's going to sort it like a string, which is going to get it in the wrong order. So before we create the tuple, okay, we have to make sure that when we make the tuples, so we're going to append onto the end of the list a tuple. How do we know it's a tuple? Well, it's in these parens. So this one set, the outer set of parens on line 22, is not for grouping. It says that we want to build a tuple, a two-value object, and the first value is going to be river. That's the river name. And the second is going to be miles as string converted to an integer. So it's going to be string integer. Okay, so after we build up that whole list, we close the in file and we return the list of tuples, which I call my river miles tuples. So that appears up here in the main as river miles tuples. Okay, well that's good. We have those all in. The first time we sort it, because we want to sort it on the first of the values, the river name, and then we pass the sorted list to the print report function. So we pass the list and the name. It prints the report. Okay. The fanciest things that we do in the report is that we format these things such that the name is left justified in a 15 character field, and the river miles are right justified in an 11 character field. Okay, and then we're using format within print. Okay, and what are the two things that we're going to print? Well, the value on the left is river miles tuple 0. That's how you pop the value out of the first field in the tuple. And the value on the right is river miles tuple 1. That's how you pop the value out on the right side. And that's how we get them formatted. Okay. So again, when we run this, with the proper data, which is called river miles data, river miles data dot text. And if we look here, let's do a double click on this so we can see the whole thing. And let's see, in the river name order, Arkansas, Colorado, Columbia, all the way down through Yukon. That's great. In the length in miles order, we're in ascending. If we had wanted to reverse the order of the list after we sorted it, it would have been in descending, but I want it in ascending. So the Tennessee is only 935, but the Missouri is 2341. Okay, so this is exactly what we wanted. All right, so what are you going to do? Well, you're going to do another example. It's not going to be rivers and miles, but it's going to be a similar data set, and you're going to sort it into two different orders, and you're going to print two different lists, and you're going to format it like this. So it's going to be very similar to this, but the data will be different. Okay, so I'm going to turn you loose on that and say bye until part 2. Bye-bye.